Hi there, it's Scott Severi, and I'm back with another episode of Fit at 50. And today we're titling it, Who is She? So I want to go ahead and read this to you. What a week this was. I love responsible social media. And if I don't know you and we connect, I want to get to know you. Now, I'm not talking about the creepy stalker get to know you, but I figured if I'm going to invite you into my life, into my home, I'm going to introduce you to my family, we might as well get to know each other. I also get a kick out of being transparent about life, especially about getting older and just how dumb I was about what life was going to be like on the other side of 50. And by the way, it's amazing. And if you haven't reached there yet, uh, I won't ruin it for you. I'll let you figure it out when you get there. So back to making social media more personal. Ali and I connected with someone for supper one night this week. And on the drive over to the restaurant, she asked a question that really could have gone sideways. She says, "How do you know this lady?" And I shrugged my shoulders in the dark interior of a rambling Jeep. And I said, "Not sure. I saw her at the restaurant one time and I hugged her." Now, as I'm crafting this story, I realize how odd it sounds. And I'm not going to mention her name because I didn't ask her for permission before I wrote this. But she's an author, and somehow or another, we connected on social media about writing. And we actually did run into each other at a restaurant a while back. It was during the week of a Christian authors conference, and Leah and I were, not surprisingly, in another Mexican restaurant, and we ran into her, and I hugged her. So in a way, I kind of knew her, and I had hugged her. And I know it's really sounding bad as I continue with the story, but for better or worse, we're going to go forward. So I like people, and she's been really fantastic. This lady, this friend, to reach out and to pray for Leah and I, and especially our lives have moved away from that crazy writer pace and into one more in alignment and surrendering everything to God's lead. So after working 12 years undercover, I never forget a face ever. Back then, there was no reason to remember anybody's name because bad guys usually don't tell you their name, and it's usually nicknames. But the face tells you everything, and so I always focus on that. You know, it even tells you more than the words that they speak. So obviously, I recognized her in the restaurant. That and the fact that she stood up and said, "Hey, Leah and Scott." It didn't take 12 years undercover to work that one out. So after a great meal, better conversation, in about 4 hours, we said goodbye. We started sharing our testimony, and we enjoyed sharing our testimony during the meal, and hearing about hers and her husband's walk with faith, and they've been married almost 40 years. And what a testimony! And so as Leah and I we said goodbye, and we were driving back home. She resettled herself in the bumpy Jeep and with its rigid suspension and quietly looked at me. I could feel her eyes, like I could really feel her eyes on my head. And then she asked again, "Now, how do you know that lady?" "I'm not sure." And she said, "Well, I'm glad you did." So I relaxed because I could no longer feel her eyes bathing me in this curiosity, and I thought maybe she'd gone to sleep after the giant Mexican meal she had had. But she was there and she was smiling. And you know the truth of it is, God puts people in our path for a reason. Of course, sometimes He takes people out of our paths for a reason. But you know, there's always a reason. And although it might not be known for a season, having the faith that His will is at work always brings a harvest of blessings. My hope is that in this new friendship is in the same hope that I have with everyone that I meet. I hope that in some small way that I can be a blessing to them. Maybe at that moment in their life, or maybe a time down the road where maybe an unexpected meeting or a thought or maybe a social media post might pop up and make a difference in their life, if just for that moment. I know I've been blessed by so many people who at the time I couldn't see the potential. And I questioned, God, why this person? Why this activity? Why this decision? But you know, God moves across, He transcends across what we understand as chronological time. And He's already placed a blessing for you in your future, just as He has for me. And so there's a specific, as if it was a train track. He's already placed the blessing somewhere down the line in your future, in my future. And you know, and all we have to do is to refuse to give up. when life's hurdles get in the way, or we question why this person is in our life or why this person is out of our life. It's having faith that God is working in our life. So who knows? Who knows who, what, or where? That those blessings are just waiting to arrive. But I can guarantee you that there's blessings down the track for you. So anyway, do good. This is Scott, and I'll see you guys next week.